Mohammed Mossadegh, duh.
Yeah, didn't you know that? He was Times Man of the Year in 1952.
How did he get that status?
Let's start at the beginning. Mosey was a very interesting man. He was extremely intelligent, patriotic, stubborn, and a very important figure in Iranian history.
In 1906, he was among the most popular people in Iran, earning him a seat in the Majlis.
The Majlis? What's that?
The Majlis, it's the Parliament of Iran.
While in the Majlis, Mosey began his platform on nationalizing Iranian oil.
And Mosey was all like, Iranian oil?
You belong with me. You belong with me.
Yeah, exactly. He wanted to kick out the British and their AIOC.
Oh, I know this one. The AIOC is the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, aka BP. They were drilling oil in Iran and reaping all the benefits for themselves.
Nice one, Shelby!
It wasn't as simple as just jumping into the Majlis. Mosey had to get Reza Shah, the one with the power.
Yeah, Justin Bieber must have totally been talking about Iran when he sang that.
And Reza Shah didn't totally agree with Mosey. In fact, they were rivals.
So much drama.
What did Mosey do to get rid of Reza Shah?
Reza Shah had a little incident with a crazy guy and a gun. He was shot at several times, but unfortunately for Mosey, he wasn't killed.
Yeah, and then in 1941, Reza Shah passed on the throne to his son, Mohammed Reza Shah. And Mosey quickly rose in power and popularity. He advocated for oil nationalization, and in 1951, Mosey became prime minister.
Mosey and Mohammed Reza Shah were both like,
But what did Mohammed Reza Shah do with this power?
Well, on his own, not much.
So why did he hate the British so much? What was so wrong with AIOC?
While Britain received $112 million every year, Iran only got $7 million, and Iranian workers were treated like pigs. They barely got any pay, worked as the lowest class, and they didn't have adequate plumbing. It was a typical British colony.
Mosey had everyone on his side singing,
You've got that one thing.
Mosey didn't like the separation between the upper-class British and lower-class Iranians, especially because the British were using Iranian property to get rich.
Over in Britain, when Mosey came to power, Prime Minister Churchill, with his imperialistic views, was thinking,
I knew you were trouble when you walked in.
What was going on over in the US? I mean, what did they think of Mosey?
Well, with Truman in the White House, the U.S. had an overall positive view of Mosey. They respected him, calling him witty and well-informed.
Mosey entered international public eyes in October 1951 when he traveled to the U.S. for a little
Party in the USA.
While in the US, there was a little debate between Britain and Iran, in which the UN and the US was involved. And although this debate mostly reached a stalemate, Mosey was happy because at least he didn't lose his oil to the British.
Mosey established himself in the international world as a powerful leader and an eloquent speaker. He gained the respect of people all around the world, like Americans and lots of people in imperialized countries like those in Egypt.
That's when he became Times Man of the Year.
This is when the coup comes in. Bak bak! Right? The British must have really wanted their oil.
Yep. Whereas Truman supported Iran's nationalization of oil, Eisenhower was worried that Iran couldn't handle its oil industry on its own, and that it would collapse and be susceptible to Soviet communist takeover.
So almost immediately after Eisenhower became president, the CIA, in conjunction with Britain's Secret Intelligence Service, began planning the 1953 coup, also known as Operation Ajax.
Kermit Roosevelt, a CIA agent and grandson of Teddy Roosevelt, was sent over to Iran to direct the whole coup.
Planning the coup took a lot of thought. First, they had to turn public opinion against Mossadegh through bribes and propaganda.
They made him seem corrupt, pro-communist, against Islam and the army.
This is exactly what the Iranians were afraid of. They wanted democracy.
Most importantly, Roosevelt had to convince the Shah to issue a firman replacing Mosey with General Zaheedi, someone the US and Britain approved of.
A firman is a royal decree by the Shah, right?
Yep. and it wasn't easy getting the Shah to play along. Roosevelt had to meet with him several times secretly, and at one point the Shah fled from Iran and they had to chase after him to get his signature.
On the night of the planned coup, Colonel Nasiri was sent to deliver the firmans. He showed up at Mosie's house to find that the word of the coup had gotten out. Supporters of Mosie were waiting to arrest the traitors.
But the CIA failed their mission.
That night, Roosevelt received a message to get out of Tehran immediately, but he decided to stay and try again.
The second attempt was much more successful than the first, and with help from the CIA, Mosie quickly lost his popularity.
Surrounded by fighting, Mosie fled from his house and ultimately stepped down from his position of power. He was arrested, jailed for 3 years, and then put on house arrest for the rest of his life. In 1967, he died of cancer.
Mohammed Reza Shah returned to the throne, receiving tons of support from both Britain and the US.
What's the point of that? Why does it even matter today?
Exactly.
Well, have you guys been watching the presidential debates?
Yeah, Iran has been a major component of all the presidential debates. It's all about nuclear power.
So were they like North Korea? Do they have nuclear weapons?
That is a common misbelief, but Iran doesn't actually have any nuclear weapons.
What's the big idea?
Well, a lot of people are worried that Iran is going to develop nuclear weapons. So Obama and Romney have two different ways of how to deal with this.
Get Iran to recognize it needs to give up its nuclear program. We are going to take all options necessary to make sure they don't have a nuclear weapon.
Governor. We have to put in place a diplomatic isolation program.
Ever since the coup, American and Iranian relationships have been ruined.
Both Obama and Romney want to move forward with bilateral negotiations, but both of their actions speak louder than their words.
One factor for the voting on November 6th is U.S. policy towards relations with Iran.
Just like how Eisenhower's election changed U.S. policy towards Iran, a change in presidency today could affect the way U.S. deals with Iran.
We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Oh, I guess I know who this Mohammed Mossadegh guy is. Now let's stop being geeks and watch a movie like normal teenagers.
You were the one who was reading a Time magazine in the first place.
Whatever, Mr. Atkinson would be proud of us. Now let's go watch a movie.
Let's watch Mean Girls!
Let's watch Despicable Me.
No, let's watch Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, let's watch Twilight.
Hey, let's go!
Watch a movie.
So, how's your week gone, guys?
Good.